with Jalen Hurts. All right. Now, Jalen Hurts is one of those quarterbacks. He's a cusp quarterback, right? Could be considered to be an elite quarterback, a franchise quarterback. Could be considered to be maybe potentially underachieving. That could be the conversation. It could go either way, and this is a pivotal year for that discussion and that debate. It's been reports that there had been a rift, a relationship, conflict between him and the head coach, Nick Sirianni, and maybe that was the reason as to why their season kind of fell off of the rails last year. There's also been reports that there's maybe concerns of the respect level for Nick Sirianni as an offensive mind. There have been a lot of speculation, reports and discussions coming from the Philadelphia area. What's y'all's take on this? What needs to happen? And I guess the bigger question to me that I'm trying to answer is, once a relationship has been strained between an important player and its head coach, how does the team, especially with the quarterback, is that fixable? Is that repairable? Can they move into the future in a healthy manner where they can have success? How you guys see this?
Listen. The Eagles started 10-1 last year. It wasn't pretty, but 10-1 is 10-1. It seems as if it was a huge disconnect offensively on what the coaches wanted to do and what Jalen Hurts wanted to do. And it came to a head like Jalen Hurts reached out to Wink Martindale, who's a defensive coordinator of the Giants, and said, hey, what do you see?
Yes, he did.
In our offense, like, for you to go not only to a divisional opponent, and Wink knew he was done with the Giants at that point, but it was, why wouldn't you go to your coaches and try to figure out, hey, like, what's wrong? Why, when we're in this front, or when they're in this front and we're in this formation and this protection, what are they doing to attack our protections? Like, you can sit down with your coaches and figure that out. He didn't do that. He went to an opposing coach. And so, to me, I don't know if that's a slight on what he feels his coaches may know and can do about it, but he didn't go to them. So, to me, that's concerning. I now look at it and say Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, they need each other. Because if the Eagles falter, they both can be gone.
Both gone.
It's not just, Sirianni going to get fired. Jalen Hurts may be gone as well, so –
Nick is gone first, though. You got to believe he's the first one. That's the first hammer to drop.
It's very important that they get on the same page. No, benching. They can get out of the contract after this season, and they can fire
Who's the backup quarterback for Philly?
It does right now. It's Kenny Pickett is battling Tanner McKee, and I heard Kenny Pickett has looked decent in camp. But this is the thing, though. They got to figure this out. You also have a new offensive coordinator in Kell Moore, who was once thought of as a head coach. And so he's going to get on the same page with Jalen Hurts because he wants to keep himself in that conversation for a head coaching possibility in the future. So now Kell Moore is going to give it his all. So I believe the Eagles will figure it out. But it's very important that Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, they got to get on the same page, man.
I don't necessarily think it's them getting on the same page. I just think that a lot of the results that the Eagles were getting last year because Jalen Hurts wasn't 100%. I believe that he was, more hurt than he was leading everybody to believe. And I think outside of that San Francisco game when they just got gashed in the running game, I had never seen that from a Philadelphia. Eagles defense where they just got behind Trenton Williams and they just ran the ball at will. So I don't believe Jalen Hurts is going anywhere. What I don't agree with, and if the Philadelphia Eagles don't go out and perform as well offensively is Kell Moore, because what has he proven in the last 3 years being on the offensive coordinator for the last three football, Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert. Now you have Jalen Hurts. So I don't really think that he's proven enough from an offensive coordinator standpoint, for him to go out and be the coordinator for the Eagles and hang all of the blame on Jalen Hurts. So I think that's going to be something that people are going to have to take a look at, is who is Kell Moore and what has he done. So I don't think Jalen Hurts is going anywhere. I think he's the franchise quarterback for this team. When he's healthy, he's a top 5 quarterback in my eyes. But for Nick Sirianni, I mean, Philadelphia is a place where you have to win. We know that.
Place you gotta win.
It's a media market, just like playing in Chicago, just like playing in New York, just like playing in L.A. It's a place where you have to win. If you're not getting it done, it's just hard to believe that they were 2 years removed just from a Super Bowl. Dog, they finished. They started this season 10-1, and they couldn't get to 12 wins. That's unbelievable. For the drop-off that they had the last part of the season, it's just you don't see that from a Philadelphia Eagles football team. And I believe that's what put him in the hot water, start off the season 10-1, being the best team in the NFC and arguably in the league at that time, and you don't get the 12 wins. So I don't think they're going to get out to a 10-1 start this year. They may get the 12 wins, but I think last year, that last rush of the season, it won't be the same as last year that it was this year, but they have to win the division. I mean, if they don't win the division, it's going to be so hard to get into the playoffs as a wild card edition in the NFC, because I just believe they're going to be a couple surprises in the NFC between, I believe, Green Bay, Detroit. We don't know how that's going to go. You don't know if this guy Jaden Daniels is going to come in and light it up. So they're going to be 2 or 3 teams in the NFC that are going to steal some spots that are going to be dark horses into this division.
My man Deion Sanders, my former teammate, my homie, my mama jamma. Well, he hit the news this week, guys, and he didn't want to take questions from a CBS local. A local guy. There's 3 possibilities as to why there was some, hard feelings, and y'all tell me if this is warranted or if it's not. One is, out of 16 coaches, Deion was ranked 15th best coach in the Big 12. Them talking about the Buffaloes having an uphill climb to get to a bowl game. And the third one probably being the most, if you ask me, the most egregious one. Kids generally, you got to say, are off limits, but when they are on your team and they're a player, they kind of are touchable, so to speak. And obviously there had been reports and filings of Shiloh's bankruptcy deal connected to some controversial happenings back when he was in high school. How do you guys feel about this, man? Because it's like there continues to be kind of stories circulating there talking about the locker room culture. Maybe the act is running thin in Colorado with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and what's going on there.
Number one, who do they not respect his coaching acumen? 15 out of 6. Who's in the Big 12? Who like, when I say that, who is favored to win the Big 12 this season? And so, Oklahoma's no longer in the Big 12. Texas is no longer in the Big 12. Who's the favorite? So Colorado has as good of a chance as anybody. You would say probably Utah is going to win the Big 12. And
they have Kyle Whittingham, which is interesting because
coming from the Pac-12.
There you go. Just like Prime, he's coming from the Pac-12 as well. They have him rated number 1. Then they have Lance what's his name? Leipold for Kansas. Kansas State next with Chris Kleeman. Oklahoma State with Coach Gundy. Yep. So, TCU with Sonny Dykes. Iowa State at 6 with Matt Campbell. Houston at 7. Which Houston has been some trash. They got him with Willie Fritz, UCF with Gus Malzahn.
So it to me, LeVar, they didn't play well last year, Colorado. They got off to a pretty good start, and then they didn't have the guys up front on both sides of the ball to compete. Like you have all the skilled players in the world. They weren't good enough where it matters the most, and that's the middle of the field.